Hi, everybody. I'm Karen McKee, and I'm here with Eric Brennan. And in this series of videos, we're talking about or trying to answer questions that scientists may have about making videos. And today we are going to tackle the question, what are some of the ways scientists are using video? And I'll start it off, and then Eric will add in his suggestions. I think one of the most common ways that scientists are using video is to demonstrate a technique, a method, a protocol. It's much better to be able to see a scientist actually performing a procedure or using an instrument than reading a text description. And that video of the method can be submitted along with the manuscript to a journal, and the video would then be published as supplemental material that people can view online.
Yeah, in fact, my first somewhat viral video, the one that has gotten more than, I think it's got about 200,000 views or something. It's a how-to video. It shows how to make a hoe for weeding. And when that video started getting a lot of views, I thought, wow, what's going on here? I don't know what's, I did not script that video. It was kind of off the cuff. The audio's maybe not as perfect as I would have liked because there was some wind in the background, but it's okay. But I think what really draws people to that video is I'm showing them how to do something. And so the how-to seems to be a very useful thing. So I definitely have found that's been a great way to show a method or how to make a tool.
Yeah, I've watched that video, and it is a really it really demonstrates how someone can make a video like that and make it so easy for someone who is trying to make something or repeat something. And in science, it's important to be able to reproduce the data that someone else has already reported on, but sometimes we don't see exactly how, or we can't tell exactly how someone did something by reading the description. But when we see them performing it on camera, there's no doubt. We see exactly how they pipetted something, or exactly how they collected a soil core, or how they divided a sample up. Whatever the case may be, we can see it clearly in the video.
You actually have a video on collecting soil cores in a marsh situation.
Yeah, I have a couple of videos like that. Yeah, and I did one of them just as a test of how difficult. I wanted to see how difficult it would be to make a how-to video, and it really just took shooting some footage, and then most of the work took place when I was editing the video, adding a voiceover, adding some text to point out or to identify the tools that I used, or the instruments that I was using, or the accessories to those instruments that I was using.
No, that's cool. For viewers that don't know, Karen and I work for the USDA. Karen worked for a government agency also, and we both work outside. Karen more in a wetland area, and me in agricultural areas. But collecting samples is a big part of my job. And I think you've spent a lot of time doing that as well.
Yeah, I actually had someone, I can't remember if it was a student or a young scientist, who came up to me at an international meeting. I think this guy was from some country in Africa. And he told me that he had been wanting to collect the types of deep soil cores that I was collecting, but he really wasn't sure how to do it. And then he saw my video that demonstrated exactly how to do it. And he said, I went out and bought the equipment, and now I'm confident that I can collect those soil cores the way you collected them. So I felt really good that it at least helped one person.
Sure. Well, and one thing this makes me think about, Karen, is sometimes most of my videos are publicly available, so anybody around the world that can, access YouTube can see them. But there's other ways that scientists could even use make a video that's unlisted or just viewable to people that they want to see it. So for example, if you didn't want to make a video that's going public and I said, Karen, can you quickly show me how to do this? You could make a video on some method and send it to myself and a bunch of other scientists who are doing something similar. It's just a rough draft, but it would still work really well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, another way that scientists are using video is to film an experimental subject. It might be an animal, someone who studies animal behavior. I've seen lots of videos that people have submitted along with their manuscripts of the behavior of an animal that their paper is describing. And you read the paper, but then you go to the video and actually see what the behavior that the paper is talking about. You can actually see the animals performing that behavior or reacting to the experimental conditions, whatever that may be.
Yeah, there's probably the scientist that came to mind when you were talking about animal behavior there is Adrian Smith. He's an entomologist, and he films he makes great videos about insects jumping off of surfaces and flying. I mean, they are incredible. Oh, I mean, using super high-speed cameras. So, I mean, that's a very effective way to show something. One thing that I actually recently did to I made a video actually to kind of to celebrate publishing a paper and kind of advertise the paper, and that was on that's actually the paper that this video series is kind of based on, why scientists should be on YouTube. So I was so happy to get that paper published because I'd been, I'm passionate about video production. I've been working on these ideas for years, that when I got that paper published, I wanted to celebrate it. And so I made a very fun and lighthearted video with a bunch of juggling to celebrate the paper. There's a link in the bottom there if you want to check that out. But
yeah, that's a great video. So I would encourage viewers to go watch it.
Yeah, it was a fun one. And another, you mentioned earlier that you could use a video kind of as supplementary information to a paper. One of my papers describes how to make a special planter. And it's got all like you had said, showing somebody how to do something is really important. It describes it step by step in the paper, but the video is actually an hour long. And I go through it one step by step, how to make this different part of it. And that, I think, that video's gotten a lot more views than I expected it would, because it's over an hour.
Well, I think that's a great way to use video, is to make outreach information for end users. I mean, for you, it's farmers. For someone else, it might be medical workers. And if you have a video like that, and you then are writing a grant proposal to the National Science Foundation, for example, and you need to show the broader impacts of your project or your proposed project, showing a video of end users taking advantage of a video or an outreach video that you've made is a really great way to demonstrate the broader impacts of your work, at least the work that you've conducted in the past. And that's what you're proposing to do in your proposed project, is to create videos for end users to transfer the information from your project to them.
Yeah, no, that's true. Another way that I've used videos has been as a replacement for me giving a live presentation. So, typically when I when any of us go to a conference, we make a live presentation, or we go to that conference and we make a live presentation there. And one thing that I've been doing for several years now is I'll take that presentation time, say it's 15 minutes, I'll cut it in half, I'll make a 7.5-minute video. I'll take that to the conference, show that, and then that frees up a whole bunch of other time for me to actually have more engagement and question and answers with the audience.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I never thought of doing that.
And then another one that I've found really helpful is having. So if I'm asked to give a presentation on a topic, I'll often say, I'll talk with you about this issue. Say it's to a group, but I want you all to watch this video first. So watch the video on your own time, and then all the time where we'll be together is for us to dialogue about what you saw. Or you could show it at the beginning of a longer, discussion period. But I find because video, if it's done right, you can put so much more information into it than if you're doing something live and kind of on the, orally or without a script. You can be more efficient with your time.
Another way I've seen people use video, or scientists use video, is to make a video resume, a short 1-minute video demonstrating one's skills or explaining what one's skills are. The one I'm thinking about, that guy actually was showing how he performed certain activities, and in the process was basically selling himself as for a job application. Yeah, and I think it was posted on LinkedIn or some site like LinkedIn where job seekers go and where people go to look for people looking for jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to add to your resume. It's basically a video is a publication, even though it may not be, it's different from a peer-reviewed publication, but it still is a great way to communicate all different types of things that you do in your work as a scientist.
One way that some scientists are using video is to film their field activities or lab activities to post on their website to attract prospective students. The video can actually show a student who's thinking of applying, can show what it's like to work in your laboratory, what kind of instrumentation you have, or if you do field work, what kinds of environments you do field work in. And it gives them a really good idea, better than any kind of text description. It gives them an idea of what kind of person you are, and also what kind of research you do.
Oh, that's a good one. So kind of advertising yourself to prospective colleagues. That's good.
We can add a list of some of these ideas to the description below the video for viewers, and also the link to your paper, where I think there's a lot more information about it in your table.
Yeah, that sounds good. So as in the other videos that in this joint series that Karen and I are doing together, we want to give you something to take action on and hopefully help you become a scientist who makes videos. And so here's the kind of the assignment or the exercise or the homework for today. So there's this writer he was a scientist for several years. His name is Randy Olson. And he's written several books. The first one I read was Don't Be Such a Scientist. Another one I've read is Houston, We Have a Narrative. And that second book that I mentioned, Houston, We Have a Narrative, Randy Olson has this very helpful template or structure that I've found useful. And it's called the ABT method or the ABT template. And it's a great way to structure something that you're trying to share. And so the A stands for and, the B stands for but, and the T stands for therefore. And it's all about trying to make your communication message into a story. Now, we're not going to get into any more details than that. There are some links in the video description where you can learn more about that. But what I would like you to try doing is take something you're working on, use that ABT framework, and try making a short, say, 1-minute video using that. The and is all the introductory parts. You know, I start off working here. This is my subject I'm working on, but we've got a problem in our ecosystem, and therefore we are doing this, that, and the other to solve it, or something like that. But it's the ABT method is one that I found very helpful in trying to sell an idea, whether it's what I've learned in a paper, or you know, if you're writing something into a proposal. But that's the assignment for this video, or the a homework or a tip for you to give something a try.
Yeah, so I think to wrap this question up, there are myriad ways that a scientist can use video to either promote themselves, or to promote their research, or to create information products, videos that can be submitted along with manuscripts that that augment the manuscript, like a depiction of a method, or a video of an animal that one is studying, or a process that one is studying, or to show how to use an instrument.
That sounds good, and I'm sure hopefully the folks watching this will find some cool things that they can do with their videos, their science videos.